Today's video is going to be super interesting because I'm going to be talking about an upcoming level that's nearly verified that I've seen pretty much next to no one talk about that is super hard, and at the same time it's being verified by a player which again is a super cracked player that I don't see enough people talk about. We are of course going to be talking about Lobster today because he is the verifier of the level we're going to talk about. He's a really good player. His hardest is Apocalyptic Trilogy, however, just look at the amount of legacies on here. There's so many legacies. I know a lot of these are very old, but I think it just shows how consistent of a player this guy is. If he's able to have beaten levels when stuff like Deception Dive was on the list and Bloodbath, and still to this day is beating stuff like Edge of Destiny, APT, Limbo, Walder White, this guy's really good. And as you can see, a couple of the levels that he's beaten are really long ones, like Operation Evolution and Damascus, and that is probably why the level that he's verifying is quite the long one. We are going to be talking about the level Cyberraptor. This is a level that I swear I've heard pretty much no one talk about, and as you can see, he's been playing it for the past couple months, getting 60%, then getting 71 3 weeks ago, and 2 weeks ago, he got 85%. However, I know this is an old achievement, but I am willing to cover it because I swear, nobody is talking about this right now. This is 300 views. To give a bit of context, this level was originally an impossible level. I feel like a lot of hard levels nowadays are just nerfed impossible levels. That's not necessarily a bad thing, it's just kind of interesting because it means they have more history. But just so you can get an idea of how hard it is, it's currently 514 on the ILL, and the level that you probably know the most that's in a somewhat similar range is all the way here down at 595, the unnerfed impossible version of Society. Now, I'm gonna have Cyberraptor playing in the background here where I talk about it, and at first glance, this level looks like it's just like Ultimate Demon Mix, or just Demon Mix, where it's just a bunch of random kind of levels put together into one, and in that case, it would be a pretty boring level. However, there's two main things that this level has going on for it, I guess three. One is that they're not just random levels that they've taken from. Obviously, these are actually levels from F777 songs. This is the same guy who made songs from levels like Sonic Wave and Deadlocked, one of the pretty much most popular, if not the most popular song artists that are related to GD in some way. He's right up there with people like Waterflame and Dimrain47. And yeah, this, again, takes those levels that use his songs and just absolutely hyperbuffs them to such an extent where I don't even know how it's able to be this hard, yet be this long, because the level is over 11 minutes in length. The gameplay is super hard, but when you look at this, it kind of doesn't look that bad, right? But when it's 11 minutes long, that kind of says something. And also, this level is very, very, very choke point carried. You will have parts that are super free. There is like Deception Dive, where you have these literal 6-star easy demon parts, and then it just throws you the most impossible thing you've ever seen. The footage on here is not doing the level justice just because of how much it does that. There are some absolutely whack transitions and timings in this level, and you probably have seen it already. The difficulty has varied quite a lot during this video. Now, the history of Cyberraptor when it comes to his verification is a bit wacky. I'll get into it here. The original verifier, from what I know, is Neroy. And Neroy's known for making these kind of upcoming extreme demon videos, compilations, which I've watched a couple of them. But the thing we're talking about today is that Neroy was progressing on this level and got to 38%, technically 40%, because this was when 2.2% just were whack. But, yeah. And well, at the time, this version's difficulty was kind of not understood well. In modern day, I think we kind of agreed it's around Saul Goodman difficulty, if not a bit harder, maybe in between Firework and Saul Goodman, from what I know. However, as you're seeing, I said first verifier, so that means that Neroy obviously dropped it. And yeah, Neroy dropped the level, and instead it became a verification race of 6 verifiers, but pretty much 5 of them just kind of gave up pretty soon. They just didn't really want to play the level, except for one person, which you can probably guess is Lobster. Lobster was one of the 6 invited to verify the level, and Lobster's been playing it ever since, and currently I believe that Lobster's version is buffed, actually. Now, the problem is it's kind of whack, the difficulty range with it right now. I'm kind of struggling to understand it because this is Exiled. He makes videos showcasing a lot of impossible levels or extreme demons. He's really good for gathering information on stuff, and he lists that the Lobster version is estimated to be top 15 if verified, with some opinions stating it's harder than every end. With Neroy's version being around top 30 in modern day, which would put it above my estimates at around Sakupin Circle's difficulty, but again, it's kind of hard to give an estimate on that just because of how long the level is. But as you saw, the estimated difficulty for this level would be in the top 10 around every end, and if not, it's at least definitely in this kind of Abyss of Darkness to every end difficulty, right? However, the comment section on Lobster's channel doesn't really make sense here because there's a lot of people asking for the difficulty, and Lobster actually replied to them with a kind of weird difficulty range because, as you can see, this person asked, where would you estimate this level on the all-rated extreme demon list if it got added? I couldn't guess where this is since it's a buffed from the nerfed version, but where do you think it is? And he said 21 to 36. Which, when we look at the difficulty here, 21 to 36 puts it nowhere near every end. This is Defeated Circle's difficulty to nearly pretty much where we estimated the original unbuffed version is. Which, you know, that's kind of weird. If it's supposed to be buffed, that must mean the buffs aren't too bad. But if you're buffing an 11-minute level, I feel like it's a very exponential curve. I feel like it should be a lot harder, so it's weird how we have these 2 difficulty takes. This could be him saying the estimated difficulty of Neroy's version, I guess, but it's worded in a way where they're asking for the difficulty of Lobster's current version, so it's a bit weird. This video right here is over 10 minutes long, and there's still 15% of the level to go, which should show you the sheer length of this level. It's absolutely diabolical. Personally, I'm kind of indifferent on this level getting rated. A lot of people pointed out there would be kind of a debate if this thing could get rated or not, because, again, it is asset stealing at the end of the day. While most of the gameplay kind of works as its own original thing in some cases, a lot of times it's either just super buffed from the original level that uses the F777 song, or it's kind of just stealing its decoration, like, asset-wise, and most of them do this. Now, not to say that you can't do that, it's just when it comes to rate standards, it kind of goes against the norm. There are exceptions where this has been allowed, but it's kind of just awkward. It's not like other levels that have done this concept, but remaking the parts entirely in their own way, just keeping the style. This is more of just directly ripping off the parts. But I don't actually think it will matter too much, because if you think about it, the Demon List are adding the Rated Plus tab anyways, and I feel like a level like this would be perfect for it, because it's of decent quality. However, obviously, because of current guidelines, RobTop will just never rate it, so it will never get the respect it deserves, other than a high placement on the unrated demon list, but I feel like not way less people know about the unrated demon list than the Pointer Crate demon list, which is why it's kind of necessary that this gets placed in some form. I'm gonna be honest, I was getting scared, I was lying, and it was like 12 minutes or 13 minutes, but no, it is in fact 11 minutes, it's barely under 12 minutes, that is still... what are we doing? How is this gonna be possible? I don't know. I just wanted to make this video to give good luck to Lobster and to give him a quick shout out because over the past year, he's been absolutely on the grind. He did stuff like Apocalyptic Trilogy, Operation Evolution, Tartarus, Crimson Planet, and Kinos this year, and Renovan, and then also all of this progress, as you can see, all of the Cyber Raptor progress is on the recent half of his playing career, so he's grinding it right now. I'm sure it'll be verified any day now. 85% is such a deep run. Sadly, to my knowledge, he doesn't live stream. Maybe he has a Twitch that he live streams on, but from what I can tell, we're just gonna have to wait to see if we find a video of it, but yeah. Go support Lobster. It's just kind of crazy to me that we're seeing a level get verified at this difficulty. Usually everyone is on the verifier's butts in this case. However, here is just like all these videos of under 1,000 views. I'm gonna subscribe here. I recommend you do the same. Like, how is someone verifying something this hard and it's just getting this little recognition? I do not understand. But, yep, that's pretty much all I have to say on this topic. Thanks for watching all the way through, and peace.